Hello and welcome to the Badjr. Today I'll be going through our WAN configurations and how you are able to add multiple internet connections to your site and allow a failover connection or redirect certain traffic to different internet connections. So if we go into James Carr's Cape Town, for example, and we go to our WAN structure. Over here, you'll see we only have one WAN link, as we call it. A WAN link is an internet connection. And then below, you'll see our WAN streams and failover strategy. To add another link or another internet connection, you would need to go into your network structure and edit WAN. Once you're here, you can add a WAN link. And we can give it a name. In this case, we are going to create an LTE connection. This LTE connection is going to be our failover link. It's going to be configured through static IP, which we recommend. You can set it to DHCP, but if your Badjr ever changes IP addresses, you could have problems with routing. So it's always best to set it to static, even if you use DHCP just to get it connected. The IP address that we're going to use here could be anything, can be based on what the LTE router's IP address already is. So a lot would have the IP range of 192.168.0.1. The Badjr will need to have an IP address for itself, and it will route through the LTE's IP address. However, these IP ranges cannot match the local range. So if your local LAN range is the same as the LTE's router, you would have to either change the LTE router's IP range or change the internal LAN range. What we usually do is change the LTE's IP range to something different. So in this case, we'll have it set to 10.13.02 as the Badjr. We have to specify the subnet as well. And then your gateway will be whatever you set your LTE router to. And there we go, we click save. Now you have two WAN connections. To have two WAN connections, we need to go back to the Badjr dashboard or Badjr overview. Sorry. In the Badjr overview, you will see your port configuration and what is a LAN port and what is a WAN port. So this will split the networks into different bridges. By default, port 1 is always your WAN port or your route out, and all your other IP addresses are your internal LAN range. To have another internet connection connected, we need these other ports specified. So if we edit ports and go to port 2, you can see port 1 is on the WAN bridge, port 2 is on the LAN. We can change port 2 to a WAN port, click save, go back to our WAN overview. Oh, sorry, Badjr overview. You'll see here that both of those ports are in yellow. We go back to the WAN overview and you'll see we have an LTE connection that's established. Now, when changing settings on the Badjr, all of the other settings in every one of these other tabs, when you change those settings get applied immediately. With WAN, however, if I make changes to these WAN configurations, it doesn't apply those settings immediately. If it were to apply the settings while you're changing them, you could very easily disconnect yourself from the Badjr, and then you wouldn't be able to get back in and change those settings. So once we're happy that these settings are correct, we go back to the Badjr, go to the Badjr dashboard. You can also get to it from here. We go to System, and we scroll down on the right-hand side here and click Reinstall next to WAN Configuration. that will then reapply those WAN settings. If any of those settings are incorrect, the Badjr won't reconnect to Unity, and it won't be able to fully apply those settings, and it will have to revert itself. So always make sure that those WAN configurations that you're using are set correctly before applying the WAN configuration. If we go back to WAN, I don't have an LTE router to plug into this Badjr at the moment, but if this does come online, you'll see this go green with an IP address of where it's connecting from. Now, we want to apply that LTE as a failover. It's just a separate internet connection for the moment. But if we go down to WAN streams and failover strategy, and we hit edit. All right, now we've got through to the edit page. You can see here, this is our main default internet connection. Our default WAN stream, default WAN stream. You have the internet connection already applied, but the stream determines where the internet connections are configured and what is using what internet connection. By default, you have one stream. We only have one WAN link applied to the stream, which means all internet traffic uses that one internet connection. If we click on WAN links, you'll see that primary internet connection is the only internet connection that the stream is using. If I add another WAN stream link and we add the LTE failover, you'll see now you have two internet connections or WAN links added to that WAN stream. And by changing the priority, I can make either one of these internet connections the primary internet connection for that stream. If we go back to WAN overview, you'll see now under WAN streams and failover strategy that we have two internet connections. And if I zoom in, the default stream has the primary internet connection as its main internet connection and the LTE failover as its failover. If this internet connection goes down, the LTE will take over. It usually takes a moment for the Badjr to notice that the internet connection has gone down. And once it has, it will then automatically switch over to the LTE. And again, now that I've changed that WAN configuration, I have to go back to Badjr dash and reapply those WAN settings. All right, now that we have our failover for our default stream, what we want to do is add another stream. Another WAN stream will allow us to redirect internet traffic from the LAN over a different internet connection if we need. So we'll go back down to WAN streams and failover strategy and go to edit. And we'll add a new WAN stream on top of the default. This WAN stream, in this example, we are going to use to redirect voice over IP traffic over a different internet connection. So I'm going to call it VoIP stream. I'm not going to tag it as the default because we already have our default. Save that. Now that we have our stream, we need to apply a WAN link to that stream. So we'll go to WAN links and we will add a WAN stream link. This WAN stream link is just going to be used for VoIP. What we want is we only want to send voice traffic over this connection. And we want to send that voice traffic to LTE, the LTE failover. Now we have a primary connection for the LTE VoIP stream. We still want a failover for this stream as well in case the LTE goes down. So we add another WAN stream link. And then we add the primary internet connection that we're using for the default stream. We'll add that as our secondary WAN link for this VoIP stream. And now you'll see that the LTE connection is your primary for the stream and your the primary link that we used for the default stream is now the secondary for this stream. We go back to WAN overview. You'll see now you've got a default stream for all internet traffic going over the primary connection, and a VoIP stream whose primary link is the LTE failover. Now, both the LTE and the primary link would be on at this point if I have actually installed an LTE router. But let's just pretend that this is online. All VoIP traffic is now going to go via the LTE connection, even though the LTE connection is not being used for all other internet traffic. To determine what internet traffic goes over the stream, we have to go back to edit the stream, and we're going to choose traffic selectors for that VoIP stream. Traffic selectors is what allows us to choose specific traffic to go over the stream. So I can choose internet traffic that, I'll just show you. If we click add traffic selector, I can choose traffic from either the source IP range, in other words, the IP range that the traffic is coming from, or the subnet the internet traffic is coming from. I can also choose the internet traffic that's bound for a certain destination IP range. I can choose traffic that's using a certain protocol, or I can choose traffic that's using a specific destination port. You can have multiples of these. It's best to simplify this. So if there are devices using a specific port or IP range that they're connecting to, for instance, if it is VoIP traffic and you have a specific PBX in the cloud that you're going to and that IP never changes, then it's a bit better idea to choose the destination IP range. I'm just going to choose something here randomly. Oh, that doesn't exist. And if I wanted to just be this IP address, I have to put it into the subnet of 32, which specifies just that IP address. Any traffic from the local network that's bound for this IP address and only this IP address is going to use this VoIP stream. If the phones connect to multiple different connections, it's not likely, but if you have a different system that uses a certain port, you can, in this case, VoIP would use 5060 traffic, and any traffic on the local network outbound using that port is going to use this stream. You can also select a certain range or a subnet. If your phones are all inside one subnet or VLAN, you can choose a specific subnet that those phones are connecting from, and all traffic from those source devices is going to use this traffic. So for an example, we'll just use the destination IP range like I had before. We click save, and you'll see here any traffic that's coming from the LAN going to this IP address is going to go via that stream. Go back to WAN overview again, and we zoom in on your WAN streams and failover strategy. And here we are. So you have your default stream taking all default traffic via the primary connection with the LTE as a failover in case the main line goes down. And then all of your voice traffic that's bound for this IP address uses the LTE unless the LTE goes down, and then the primary link becomes its failover. So both of these streams have a failover. If either one of them goes down, it fails over to the connection that's still up. You can add multiple different links and use different links with or without failovers. You can add multiple links here. Don't forget that if you do, you need to change these ports to WAN ports to be able to connect out. You'll have to add these ports to the WAN bridge. If you have over 5 internet connections, you'll need a Badjr with at least 10 ports, but you'll still, of course, need at least one LAN port to plug into a switch for your internal network. And that covers WAN links and configurations. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.